Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV. I hope you guys are well, wherever it is that you may be around the world. Lots to talk about today. Chelsea 2, Palace 0. Not the most easiest games, not the most pleasing to the eye, but we're going to go through all of the stats for the game, talk about certain individual players. Player ratings is something we'll talk about later, but we're also going to do more of a tactical discussion today, a tactical breakdown of how Chelsea played in this semi-final and what the differences were from both halves. What were the two key differences between what we saw in the first half to the second half? Because for me, it was a massive difference in terms of performance from the players. And yeah, we're going to go through that. We're going to do a little tactical little review as well, what I think worked and how it worked, get you guys give you guys an idea and sort of an imagination of what I'm seeing into it as well. But make sure that you smash that like button, guys. Come on, let's get them likes up. There's over 15 of you here already. Big up to everyone on here at the moment. It is bank holiday where I am as well. It is bank holiday where I am. So a lot of people not working today. A lot of people just chilling. A lot of people recovering from their messy nights, maybe last night or not. Maybe just sitting at home, chilling, watching TV. You could be watching me on there. You could be watching me on the phone. You could be watching me anywhere right now. Big up to everyone that's fixed in and tuned in right now to the channel. But before we move forward, you know what time it is, guys? Let's cue that intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV. I hope you guys are well wherever it is that you may be around the world. And yes, Chelsea did qualify. Chelsea did make it to the final. They will be meeting Liverpool in the final as well. Big game, a game that I actually wanted as well. A game that I was, hoping would come because played Liverpool 3 times. They've only beaten us in 120 minutes on penalties. Other than that, the drew. I really feel like we've got a bit between our teeth, a bit of revenge could possibly be on the cards for that. But that's on May the 14th. Whether I get a ticket or not to that, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. We have got Arsenal this week as well on Wednesday. So probably the preview for that will either be tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, it will be Wednesday at normal time around 12 o'clock before, obviously, the big game in the evening as well. But we're going to talk about today's game because yesterday's game was a very mixed performance, I would say. You could probably grant them that the fact that they've just got back from Real Madrid playing 120 minutes against them at the level that we did played its factors in this game. We did play a very, very strong team, and we're going to go through that team a bit later on in terms of how we originally set up in the first half and how we set up in the second half and the differences within that as well. But the most important thing was we got the win. And for me, performances, especially in the second half of certain individuals, were very good. In the first, many were poor. But let's see what people were saying in the chat. Sosa says J5 Lukaku, bim. He's had enough of them already. Big up to you. Big up to Pedro Neves as well in the house. Tuchel told them to up the tempo in the second half. They were completely different. But as much as it was Tuchel probably getting in their ears, because I've never seen Tuchel so livid with a performance than I did in that game. He also made some tactical switches, and it wasn't just like the change of players. I'm talking at the beginning of the half because he didn't make any subs, and we're going to get into that a bit later on as well. Seppa's big up to you. Texas Blue says, Jem, you were class the other day on Lorenz's stream. Big up to Texas Blue. Yeah, big up to Lorenz as well. I was on his channel last night, hence why I could not get the stream in for that. But yeah, it was a good show. Lots of different opinions on that as well, but big up to him. Callum says, Jim, you see the diff we are trying to get. You see the DOF we are trying to get. He is world class. No, Callum. Who is it, mate? Tell me who it is. Gavman says, happy Monday, bro. Great second half, Tommy T. Know exactly what we need. Up the Chelsea. And yes, we are in another final. There's a couple little things that we're going to go through before we start talking more into the game. And it's to do with stats for this game, after this game as well. And we're going to start with one in the name of Thomas Tuchel. Now, Thomas Tuchel is been at Chelsea for just over a year and a bit now. And he's made it to Chelsea semi-finals record under Thomas Tuchel. How many semi-finals have Chelsea got to with Thomas Tuchel in such a short space of time? Well, 7 is the answer to that. We've won 6 of these 7 semi-finals. He drew one as well. He's not lost one semi-final since. 10 goals scored as well within these 7 games. Only 1 goal conceded in these 7 games that he's played semi-finals. That just goes to show what kind of a manager this guy is, how good he is as a manager, how mentally he gets these players ready for the big occasion. And the semi-final is a big occasion, don't get me wrong. 6 clean sheets out of 7 games is tremendous. They've made the final every time. We have made the final every time since Thomas Tuchel has got us there. The issue we've had is winning the finals, winning the finals. And it's a great stat. Don't get me wrong. It's a great stat for a manager that's only been here for 2 minutes. When you think about his career at Chelsea, you compare it to the likes of Klopp and Pep and how long they've been at their football clubs predominantly. And you think to that, and you can only say that in what he's done in such a short space of time is really impressive. Now, what we need to do, sort the ownership stuff out, back this manager, give him the tools that he needs to make us more achievable, like more good in these finals. At the end of the day, think of it like this: if he's making it to 7 finals, and he's winning, he's making it to 7 finals. All right, we're not winning them at the moment. We're having a bit of an hiccup, especially when it comes to Wembley. But if he has the right players, and then he improves on this stat, where every time we make a semi-final, we'll make it to a final, but we're winning these finals, then what you've got there is a team being built to win. A team that would have been built to go into any final, set up in the right way with the right profile of players, and actually get success from these finals. And the amount of finals that we've been to, we should be winning at least half of them easily. Don't get me wrong, you're going to lose a couple here and there. I get that. But 7 games we've made to this final as well, So we need to see better results. We need to see better results from that, from ourselves, shall we say. Callum, big up to you. Check Pies' tweet. Let's have a quick look at Pies before we continue. Let's have a quick look at Pies. 2 of the shortlisted bidders are keen to talk to Paul Mitchell over a technical director role at Chelsea. That's what I've got there. Ankle strap. Mateo Kovacic ankle was swollen. I don't see anything on Pies' thing, Callum. I don't see anything. No. I'm looking at it now. There's nothing there. So if you can see the comment, just copy and paste it and put it in there. Put it in the comments and I'll read it out. In German, Tuchel is pronounced to shell, is what Terence is saying. We need to win this FA Cup or I'm done with it, is what Sosa's saying. Big up to Marshall in the house as well. See you at Wembley. Yeah, we will see you at Wembley. Declared is back in the building as well. Big up to Declared in the house. Let's fly through these stats and then we're going to get into a little bit of tactics in how we set up. Then we're going to do the player ratings as we always do. Now we've got another one for you. And even though he's not been in the most greatest of forms, let's get it right. Chelsea have now kept a clean sheet in 6 of their 7 semi-finals under Thomas Tuchel. So beating Man City 1-0 in one game, drawing 1-1 with Real Madrid, then winning 2-0, winning 2-0 against Spurs, winning 1-0 against Spurs, winning 1-0 against Hilal, and then winning another 2-0 against Crystal Palace. We have been pretty effective in semi-finals. We've managed to get it pretty much spot on. Now it's taking that semi-final success and putting it into finals. Putting these performances into the finals as well, because we just need to get it across the line. We need to get it across the line. So very good record again on that one as well. I think Thomas Tuchel needs to sort out his midfield for the final. Yeah, he does, but it doesn't help that Mateo Kovacic has also picked up an injury as well. We don't know how long he's going to be out with that. We did see a picture of him with an ankle strap. He wasn't on crutches, which is good news, which means he can put weight on that foot. So in many ways, you'd think that he might miss the Arsenal game, but at the same time, he could be back as soon as, God knows, as soon as a couple of weeks, hopefully. And in a couple of weeks, at least 3-4 weeks, we have got the final. So going on to even some more stats. Mason Money Mount has now scored in 3 different semi-finals for Chelsea. Man United in 2020, Real Madrid in 2021, and Palace in 2022. Another big goal and a big game for Mason Mount. And again, keep saying about it, he may not be performing to the levels that we have seen him perform in the last 2 years, but his outputs are better and he continues to be effective from his outputs yeah, which is the truth, than what it has been the 2 seasons before. So it's a little bit of the gone from north all the way to south. It's not balanced itself out. It's all gone like that, and now it's all gone like that. You know, it's finding that middle line. But if he's going to listen, if his outputs are going to be good, and he's going to be scoring goals, if you tell me that he ain't going to play good for 38 games, but in them 38 games he's going to get 20, or say 18 or 19 goals in all competitions, plus 15, 16, 17 assists, I'll take it. And that's the truth of Mason Mount. And it's becoming to a point now that even if he's not playing well and we're still winning games, it's usually because he's involved with either an assist or a goal. So I think a lot more respect needs to be put on the name of this guy at the moment as well, especially from our own fan base as well. There's another little stat for you guys here as well. So he scored in his last 3 games for Chelsea Football Club, against Southampton, against Real Madrid, and against Crystal Palace as well. He is in what called good form. Whether that's to do with his haircut, a lot of people saying don't ever allow that hair to grow back again. Look, at the end of the day, he's doing his thing. You know, big up to Owain in the house as well. He says quadruple loading, Gem. No, the quadruple is not loading. We have to save the world. We have to stop this from happening. We as Chelsea fans cannot allow this to happen. Again, Chelsea having to save the world. Gavman, big up to you as well. Robin and how Havertz invisible as always didn't get tapping, sadly, as always. That's a really weird agenda, mate, that you got. That's a really stinky, weird agenda. If you could sell either Lukaku or Werner, who would you sell and why? Well, that's an easy question for me. I'm keeping Werner at the moment, from what I've seen, and I'm selling Lukaku. I don't really think I need to explain why at the moment. Jem, bit random, but believe it or not, I have the same chest of drawers as you. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. IKEA job, yeah? TJK Gamer says it was a tough battle yesterday, but we got the job done. Onto the final as well. Let's see. Nah, that cheap taste, mate. This ain't even my house. Yeah, I'm moving into my house next month. This is my missus's family's house. So less with Terence, less of the digging out. Yeah, less of the digging out. Can't be a bit of an IKEA job, all right? Let's move from this on to my next stat, and someone that is really coming into form, and especially in the last 3 games, and turned up and played pretty well. Mr. Timo Werner, 3 goals, 3 assists, and 9 key passes in April, just in April, in all competitions. And we could probably go as far to say that, is this Timo Werner's best month at Chelsea Football Club from what we're seeing right now? I'd probably say, yeah. We're going to talk a bit more about him on the player ratings a bit later on. But he is in great form. And I think as a fan base, you know, we have to kind of shift our mindset sometimes. We can't always be thinking, always be negative towards a player who the last 3 games has been very consistent in his performances and has been effective. And at the end of the day, if you like him, you don't like him, you know, it seems to be like Marmite by the sounds of it. You know, he deserves to be in the team right now. And yesterday he was very good again for me, and he was very effective. And when he plays well, he deserves to be said that he plays well. It's very easy just to say, oh, he's been shit, sell him, technical ability shit. I actually think he's been a lot better. You know, the biggest question mark with all our forwards, and I throw Timo Werner in it, it's just the consistencies. It's just how consistent can they be with this form. Now, Tuchel seems to like playing the same system. He seems to like the Mount Havertz and Werner link at the moment. I agree with him. Why change it? Why change something that seems to be working quite nicely? And that is something that as Chelsea fans we've been trying to find that balance, trying to find that connection, the chemistry of this. The biggest question mark of it now is how consistent can it be? Like, can it continue to be effective? You know, he's going to have to continue putting in good games to hold his place. Romelu Lukaku's finding the bench. Pulisic has been in and out of form. Ziyech, even though people may say he's been hard done by, it only really fits the 4 system as well. You know, so at the moment, I think Timo Werner, in how we're playing at the moment, deserves to be in the team. And big hats off to him in the way that he's turned up in this game as well. You know, he's inevitable, is what I'd say. You can never put him down. Can never, ever put him down. Yeah, I know. Havertz is 23. He's allowed to have. I know. It's just agendas at this point. I can't listen to it. His confidence is crazy. Is a crazy drug. It is, and I think confidence is a real big thing when it comes to when you look at Timo Werner. Even his touches. seem to just look a bit better. His movement with the ball looks better. He looks quicker. Don't know about you guys, but I always thought he looked really slow with the lack of confidence. But all of a sudden, it's like he's got this rocket up his bum again. He's just very quick, and that's the kind of Timo Werner we saw at Leipzig, and that's the Werner we want at Chelsea. Maybe this is his cry for his last fight to try and stay at this football club. I don't know. Some people may think he still may leave. That's cool. That could potentially happen. But, we'll have to see with Timo Werner. Of course he does. Of course he does. Should have had 2 assists. He could have had a hat-trick of assists yesterday. Is it the yellow kit? Well, we'll find out soon, won't we? We'll really find out soon. All I want is for Timo to form like he has been for that. Exactly. It's just a consistency thing, Pedro. That is literally, I keep telling people, consistency is key when it comes to our forward line, because none of them are. None of them are consistent whatsoever. They'll play well for 2-3 games and they'll drop. We don't need that. We need people like Timo Werner that are coming into their prime to step up, become counted for, put the ball in the back of the net. You don't have to have an 8 or 9 out of 10 game, a bit like what Mason Mount done yesterday. But if you're finding yourself in the right positions and putting the ball in the back of the net, then for me, you're doing your job. That is what you're there to do. So, if your outputs are good, but your form's not great, or you're not always great on the pitch, then I don't care. To be honest, I don't have to see you do step overs and nutmeg people all the time, and do all this beautiful football on the pitch. As long as you're doing what you're being asked to do, and he's doing that, and not just that, he's playing well at the moment as well. 3 goals, 3 assists. Is it a total revival? I think it's still very early for Timo Werner. Don't get me wrong. I think the next up and coming games will tell us more about Timo Werner and where we stand with him. Pulisic and Cho will be warming for the bench for a little. Well, they will at this rate. He's composed. That's the word. I think composure is the biggest word steppers at the moment for me with Werner. He just looks, he's not rushing. And every decision that he makes is the right decision at the right time at the moment. All right, he might lose the ball still when he tries to dribble with someone, but then he chases it and he works hard to try and get it back. And, that's all good. And for me, at the end of the day, he deserves to be in the team. And I think we need to accept that as a fan base, that he's not going to be, I don't think he's going to be dropped anytime soon. I think he is going to be in the team, providing he continues with these solid performances. No, I agree. I'm not solid on him as well, but from what I've seen at the moment and how we play, he deserves to be in that team. And we're going to talk a bit more about him in a bit anyway. We're definitely going to talk a bit about him. Just a quick little bit of breaking news, actually. A little bit of breaking news for you guys before we go back to this game. Just something that popped up in the corner of my eye. Simon Phillips has just bring out a comment in regards to the new owners and the status of keeping certain individual contracts alive at Chelsea Football Club. New owners at Chelsea may be reluctant to offer Georgina and N'Golo Kante the terms they want to extend their contracts. The club may also see this as an opportunity to make some money on 2 players in their 30s. I think that's probably got an element of truth to it, but where people need to be careful with this comment is maybe. So I feel that Simon Phillips is giving more of a view of what may happen as to why they don't give the contract, as to it being a certainty at the moment. But the fact that we're not looking to give both of them, look, I think we'll give one of them. For me personally, I think Kante maybe we get rid of both. I don't think we get rid of both. I'd be shocked if we did. The issue you got is you could probably make money on Georgina going back to Italy, and in N'Golo Kante, you still hold some sort of value if you put him up for sale. So if you're looking at it from a business prospect in terms of money and what you could make on these 2 going into their 30s, then you're probably looking that you could probably still make money now. So if their contracts are coming to an end, are you going to give them another 3-year contract for them 3 years later not be able to kick them off the books because they're getting older? Not to say that they are not going to be playing at the same level. I don't know. Maybe Kante becomes the same Kante he was 7 years ago. I don't know. Georgina, for me, I don't feel will stay at the football club personally. But it's yes, he is on holiday. That's what I've heard. He is on holiday as well. He is on holiday. So there you go. A little bit of breaking there. A little bit of news from Simon Phillips on that. Now we're going back to the game, and I want to talk about. We've done a little bit of stats on players that stood out. Timo Werner, 1 man of the match yesterday. Some people disagree. Some people agree. But in terms of the overall stats, we did dominate this game. 66% to their 33%, 12 shots to their 6, 4 against their 2, and an 87% passing accuracy rate compared to their 75% as well. 57% tackling rate with a 57% aerial duel one. We did heavily dominate the game, but the first half wasn't very pretty. It wasn't a very pretty first half, and we struggled to really break this Palace team down. And for me, it was a couple of things. There was a couple of things that didn't work. And I actually said this before. I can't remember if it was on my show or someone else's, but I basically said that what can go wrong. It was on our show. It was on this show. I said, what can go wrong against Palace? Even though the personnel was there, Mitchell was fit, Zaha was there, Eze was there, and Oliacy come on a bit later on. They had the players. What didn't work well yesterday for the first half was that the defence was moving the ball out too slow. Our midfield in Georgina, Kovacic and Ruben, when he came on the pitch, were too slow at moving the ball again in transition. We were too predictable. We just wanted to keep passing sideways, backwards, and it completely slowed the game down. So every time we did try and build up some momentum, it got slowed down. The forward line was very unsure on whether to go or come. A lot of the times they would make runs into pockets and they won't find it. So what ended up happening is you saw the likes of people like Havertz and Mount coming deeper to the ball to receive it because they were getting frustrated because they weren't receiving it. And then once they received the ball, they were so deep that they couldn't be effective with it because they were not in the position they were meant to be, which was higher up the pitch. And it was just the balance was just all wrong. And it was personnel and it was individual performances. And it goes back to how we tend to play first halves. We do seem to be more of a second half team. We don't really come out firing a lot of the times, and I don't really get it. It takes Tuchel at half time to stick a rocket up their bums to get a performance, and that shouldn't have to happen. It shouldn't have to be doing that to get it done. So for me, it was a couple of things, and obviously we've got the line up here as well. I'll zoom in a bit for you guys. I've got it on a different setup this time, just to give you guys a bit more of an idea of what I think was happening. So let me go back a bit. Well, actually, that's fine. So as you can see, we kind of set up in a 3-4-3 system, and within that 3-4-3 system, what I expected was a lot of this from Alonso and a lot of this from Aspie. Now, originally, when the lineups came out, my head said it was going to be like this. This is what I, in my head, assumed was going to be the way that we approached the game. What we ended up seeing was that Rhys James became a fullback. Remember when I said to you guys that Thomas Tuchel sees Rhys James playing in this position more often? And don't get me wrong, he plays it very well. I think he does see that. I think the only problem with Rhys James being there is he can't be effective forward, and I think he can. And I think he's probably one of our best at creating and assisting, and we know he can score goals. So, we kind of took the risk. We kind of took the moment to lose his ability of going forward to make sure that he nullifies the defensive aspect. The offensive aspect of Crystal Palace in Wilfried Zaha. And let me tell you something now. Every time we've played against Wilfried Zaha, or James has played, he's always pocketing him. And he's always kind of played in a fullback position to do that. What went wrong yesterday was that when we picked the ball from here and we made the pass into the midfield, which was sitting pretty much like this, we found that the space between the defence and the midfield was they were too close to each other. So Georgina was picking the balls up here, whilst Cover and Ruben, when they were playing, were very static here. They weren't making runs into here and they weren't making runs into here. They were just kind of coming deep to receive the ball, which automatically then did this. So then Alonso drops in, Aspie then drops in because automatically we're the midfield itself is way too deep. They're not releasing the ball quick enough. They're kind of creating triangles for each other. So James would give the ball into Georgina. Georgina would then look forward, but then go sideways, and then they'll go back. And what Palace did, and it worked so comfortably for them, is that they pressed us. They pressed us so well that their midfield was able to be pretty much in our faces because they didn't need to worry about what's behind, because we weren't looking to make that pass behind into these two. It got to the point where Havertz ended up doing that. Werner ended up going there. And then Mount started doing this with Havertz. And at some points when Havertz and Mount received the ball, they were at the halfway line. You look forward, and Timo Werner's trying to make runs against 4 defenders off the Palace. We were just basically too deep, and that's all because we were taking too many touches with the ball. Yeah, and Thomas Tuchel in that game was screwing, was absolutely. I could see him moan at Georgina. Don't get me wrong, Georgina had for me a sinker in the first half. He was not good, but it wasn't just Georgina. It was the positional sense of the people around him. Every time we got the ball out to Aspie and Alonso, they are not comfortable enough in moving the ball forward, so they would make things slow down. Everything was just all too slow. And then obviously Kovacic got injured, which we can remove. Ruben Loftus-Cheek comes on the pitch, and nothing really changes in that first half. Ruben was asked to play a deeper role to help Georginio link up, because what Palace done was every time Georginio came here to pick the ball up, they had 1 or 2 players on him. So every time he turned around, he couldn't make a pass. So he ended up having to go back. But some of the times where Georginio did have the ball, he was taking too many touches. He was not looking up. I've never seen someone look at his feet so much than Georginio in that first half. And he completely slowed us down. When Georginio used to play for Chelsea, and this is in a rare occasion, when Georginio used to play for Chelsea, not only did we have this issue with his slowness, but we also had the control. He used to control the game. So in terms of the speed of the game, it used to sometimes have it in different ways. So like yesterday we saw it was very slow, which is what happens sometimes when Georginio is on the pitch. But also he usually controls it by moving it forward progressively quicker. And what the difference was in the second half, which is why we look better, is that Thomas Tuchel didn't change much, but he did something pretty obvious. He went, Werner Havertz, second half, sit there. He grabbed Georginio and he sat him there, and he made Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Mason Mount sit like this. And automatically, by putting 2 players, 2 midfielders further up the pitch, it then dragged the Crystal Palace midfield back automatically, because they went from pressing us hard here, getting us here where we were so deep because there was nothing to worry about here, to then having to worry about runs from Ruben Loftus-Cheek, runs from Mason Mount. Timo Werner was pulling a little bit left. Havertz was coming in and linking up and pulling out right. We ended up paying more space. And then ultimately, where we like to play from the back, when we found the ball into Georginio, he had more time on the ball. Now, a lot of people saying, see, Georginio was better. He was better in the second half. He smashed it. You know, he looked so much better than he did the first. Why did he look better from the second to the first? It wasn't specifically Georginio. It was what Thomas Tuchel did tactically, which relieved the pressure of Georginio and allowed him more time on the ball. Because let's be serious, when he does receive the ball, he does like to take a touch or 2. He does like to look up and make a decision on what he's going to do. He doesn't automatically move the ball quick enough. But Ruben Loftus-Cheek ended up playing more of an 8 role, which is where I feel that is his best position. I don't think his best position is out here. I don't think his best position is even here. And what we saw from Ruben yesterday, where Georginio's picking the ball here, where Aspie and Alonso were a bit more pushed up on the wings as well, which had given him an option to go here and here. But he also then started playing his balls in here a bit quicker because the options were there. He wasn't having to do little 1-2 passes here where they were both covered by Palace players. The Palace players were forced back. Their midfield was forced back. You know, so Georgina had more time. And when the ball was found to Ruben in this position here, the first thing that he automatically thought to do was pick the ball up and drive. And he drove into these pockets where Werner was making runs here. Havertz was pulling more idea. Mount was playing more off the left. And then it became that Ruben was becoming more of a supplier. And we saw it. It was one great moment in the second half where he picks the ball up on the turn. He turns the player and then he just sprints. And when I saw him running the way he did through Wembley from one end of the pitch to the other with that speed, it reminded me of the old Ruben. It reminded me of the Ruben that we saw under the Sarri days. And that is where we will see the best of Ruben Loftus-Cheek if we can play him within that system. You know, you might not be able to do that all the time in every game because leaving J5 on his own a lot can be an issue. Now, it wasn't that he left him on his own. What we done very well was that when the defence got the ball and Georgino hit it, Ruben's runs were here. They wasn't here, and it wasn't here, and it wasn't here, and it wasn't here. There were runs that dragged the other team to go the other way. And that's why we look better. Mount will come a bit here, make an option one side. Ruben will come here. And we ultimately looked like we was in like a 4. This is how we looked when we played. It was something like that at some points. For me. You know? It was something along the lines of that kind of way. And that's why in the second half, we used the width of the pitch more. And we then played to the strengths of the players on the pitch more. Ruben Loftus-Cheek in the 8th position performed better. Mason Mount slowly, sort of did fizzed out, but then grew back in the game in and out, got a great goal. Timo Werner was more effective because once Ruben received the ball and he turned and he looked up, Werner was able to then start making these direct runs because he knows that the ball's going to come now because we was being more progressive with the ball. The balls were being found in these positions. And that is why you saw better here. Maybe Havertz, he didn't have the greatest game yesterday, but even he then started finding more the ball over on this right. And when you think about Ruben's goal, where he found himself, it's because Havertz finds himself in and around here. Ruben's arriving on the box, Werner's in the box with him, and Mount's on the edge here. And he picks it up here, it comes out here, and bang, top corner. He finds himself in this hole. But Ruben Loftus-Cheek in that second half pretty much kind of changed the style of the way that we were playing, in the progressiveness and moving forward. And that's the big difference for me. That was the big difference for me in the way that we set up in this game from the first half and into obviously the second half. This is what people are saying in the chat as well. Big up to Blue. Sosa saying Tuchel was yelling at him. He was yelling. Vinny, big up to you, mate. Nice to see you in the house. What else have we got here? Big up to Amfred. Matthew, nice to see you. Josh says 3 excellent games on the bounce for my boy. Deal CFC, big up to you as well. Big up to you. What else have we got here as well? Yeah, big up to you. So look, there you go. That was just a little tactical insight. Something that I think we'll probably do a lot more now in games, just to give us an idea of where it may went wrong, where it's really going well, and it just gives you guys a better idea of what I'm saying, because at least I can drag players, put him there, play in there, put him there. So bear in mind, like I said, once we were in possession of the ball, and it was for most of the game in the second half, while we was more effective. Sorry. Why we was more effective was because Georgina was freed by the tactical switch that Tuchel done in dragging Ruben further up the pitch. And Ruben was more effective because he was played more as an 8 rather than asked to do more of the defensive aspect, and was receiving the ball better in better positions where he can be more effective. And this is Ruben Loftus-Cheek's position. I keep telling people this. He's not this. He's not this. He is this. He is this for me. That is where he should be playing. But guys, there's over 90 of you here. Make sure we smash the like button, please, if you can. I did see that. And you know what? It works. I mean, why James came there was because there was so much space in that. And Georgina kind of pulled out a bit. And not just that, James was more progressive and he moved the ball quicker. It was like as if he had enough from seeing Georgina going sideways, backwards, sideways. Georgina was better in the second half. And he was moving the ball quicker forward. But James did step in a couple of times just to assist in getting us to be progressively better. And when we're progressively better and we're moving the ball quicker, this system flows better. The system's not the problem. This system is our best system for me in the way that we approach games. The issue with this system is the personnel. And sometimes it can just be a little tactical thing. Like, Kovacic is not playing, Ruben comes in. You know that if you play Ruben there, he's not really going to be as effective. Make him a little bit forward. Maybe Thomas Tuchel now sees that as a better option going into these games. And in a game against Liverpool, for example, where they will press high and it will be on us, maybe giving Ruben the chance, if Kovacic isn't fit, to just play a bit further up and be more progressive like he was, is really going to hurt teams. It's really, really, really going to hurt teams on a big one. But Got a donation here. Big up to Jose CFC. Matty, nice to see you as well. Like I said to you yesterday, I would have taken retired Heskey. My God, Matty. Big up, big up, big up. So we've got a donation here from T1. Big up to T1 for that as well. Donation to the channel. 2 weeks ago, I was ready to part ways with Werner. Now I want to see another season. Your thoughts? Look, you know, we were all on the thing of that he was done, and that was because of himself, in the way that he was performing, in the way that he approached the last couple of games. He just looked so ineffective, and it was very weird because even when he weren't scoring goals last season, he was contributing, he was creating, and that weren't even enough for people. People wanted to see goals from Timo Werner. What we're seeing from Timo Werner now, and again, I keep banging on consistency is important. You have to see a consistent pattern of this. 3 games is good, and it's great to see, and he deserves to be in the team. But how long can he continue with this level of performance is the next question mark. But when you look at why he looks better, isn't just because we're playing him, it's because we're not playing him here. Before we used to do this. And it's good we've got this formation tab up quickly, just to show you guys. When we played a 3-4-3 with Timo Werner, we asked him to play out on this area here. Now, not that he can't do it because he does find himself on the left, but what Thomas Tuchel's done, which is very clever now, is that he's kind of dropped Mount off here, pushed Havertz a bit here, and given Werner the license to not only get in here, but now he drags himself across here. When he makes runs here, he makes runs here, comes in deep here, can link the ball here, but he doesn't find himself having to just stay out there. He has more of a freedom role. And along with that freedom role, you're starting to see a lot more composure in his play. He's making the right decisions when he receives the ball. Yeah, his link-up play is getting better. It looks better from what I've seen when we moan about him technically not being good enough. The moment he's doing the right things, with even from the technical side of it, his timing his runs better. When you watch his runs now, his time his run better. And for me, he just looks automatically quicker. He just looks so much quicker off the ball. Like yesterday, he just looked rapid, and he didn't. Like I went and watched him at the Bridge, the 2 games that we've lost when he come on, and he just looked so slow. He couldn't even beat like the slowest of defenders for pace. You know, now he just looks a yard sharper. And whether it's a fitness thing, whether it's a mentality thing, I do think it's a confidence thing. A confidence thing that I feel that maybe he suffered from in a while, but now he has to kick on. This is Timo Werner's last chance at Chelsea, I think, before he himself and Chelsea might think of maybe selling him for value. If he becomes more effective by the end of the season, becomes more important in the final against the FA Cup against Liverpool, which I think he needs to play, because Liverpool don't like playing Timo Werner because of their high line. He will love that high line. I'm telling you now, in that game, right? We've got Arsenal on Wednesday. Does he play? Does he not? If he gets rested, I understand it, because he played Real Madrid and he played this game as well, full 90s, and I can understand it. But a man that's in form like Timo Werner, if he can be consistent, continue playing to the level he is, he might not play every game 9 out of 10. But I don't care as long as he's effective. Yeah, as long as he's effective, as long as he's still contributing, and even if he scores a 1 goal, but he's had a 4 out of 10 performance, I'm happy. And then he kicks on to the next game and he finds that performance at a later stage. It's just consistency. We don't have no consistency from any of our forwards, other than maybe Mount in regards to his outputs, but not his form. Havertz was in great form and looked very good, like what Werner did earlier on in the season. But now the last 2 games, Havertz looks a little bit more leggy, a little bit more tired, making the wrong decisions, coming in a bit more deeper in areas that he shouldn't be. Rather than being here, he's now finding himself here. He needs to be focusing here. You want to come and link play in with these lot. Cool. 1, 2. Your next run, your next movement, once you link the ball to the players on the wings, is to be here. Because when he's there, that's when he's effective. So Havertz, in his positional sense, needs to be better as well. You know. Let's get on to the player ratings, because I want to open up the lines as well for you guys as well. It seems like we're flying. And it keeps on using Mount and Werner's to. Okay, fair enough. But anyway, there you go. There's a little tactical breakdown for you guys. Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that. A little tactical breakdown of what the difference was from what we saw from the first half to what we've seen in the second. There is over 120 of you guys here, though, but we should have over 75 likes. We've got 60 at the moment, guys. Please smash that like button now. Let's get them likes up. Let's get this over 75 likes. I hope you're enjoying the show that we're going on at the moment as well. It's been quite tactical. If you haven't seen it or you've just tuned in, please, smash the like button. Make sure you go back after at the end of the show and check out the tactical breakdown that we just did on the South. But we'll be doing that more in games now for you guys as well, just to give you an idea of how I see it. Not that I'm right, but just to give you guys an idea of what we see. We're going to go to the player ratings, as always. This gives you guys the opportunity to give your ratings per player. We'll open up the lines as well for you guys as well. Big up to Josh. He says smash the like button, subscribe as well. Gems dropping on it. Yeah, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy doing this with you guys, but we need to get them likes up as well. Subscribe as well. We're on our road to 5.2k, man. 6k road is on its way as well. So big up to everyone. Edouard Mendy, guys. Edouard Mendy's performances. Let me know what you thought in the chat. I thought it was better. He was called on to make one good save from a shot, but he wasn't heavily involved in the game, was he, really? You didn't see him have too much to do. For me, Mendy, I'm going to say was a 6.5 for Mendy. I'm going to put that in the chat as well. 6.5 for Mendy. There's not much to really say with Mendy at the moment. For me, it's just important that you see him playing. I did tell Matt this. He will play and he will do a job, and he's kept another clean sheet, and that is what it is. 7, 6.5, 6.5s. Yeah, there's not much to really say because there wasn't much to judge other than he had to make one real great save from that as well. So let's move away from Mendy. I want to move on to Antonio Rudiger. I'm going to be honest with you. In his first half, I thought he was well too far ahead. I thought Christensen covered the space very well in the first half because we've got caught a couple of times. Sometimes he was doing some of these with his left foot long balls over the top that just didn't work as well for me. Second half he was much better. Overall, it was not a bad performance. It was a decent performance still from Rudiger. So I'm going to give Rudiger a 7. Give Rudiger a 7. Just maybe in the first half, I felt like he was out of position a couple of times here and there. Big up to David in the house as well. Solo. So Rudy's 7.5, 7.2, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. 2 is what Solo's saying. 7. So yeah, there we go. That's Antonio Rudiger. We're not going to be too long on these lanes because I want to get you guys in the chat on this as well for at least an hour. Andreas Christensen, very good first half. I thought, he covered the space very well. He was a little bit he gave some silly tackles away in the early stages of the game, but overall, not a bad performance from him. Again, people question his loyalties to the club. He's going Barcelona. It is what it is. We know that. But, he at the end of the day, he was good yesterday. And I'm not going to sit here and slag a player off that had a good game. And I can fully understand why Silva was rested for the pace element. And he used his pace very well, especially in the first half to dig us out when we were caught deep. And I would say his distribution was very good as well. Moved the ball quicker in the second half before Thiago Silva come on the pitch. So I'll give him a 7.5 or a 7. Now I think he was better than Rudiger yesterday. I'm going to give Krusty a 7.5. Yeah, it was good. It was good, Josh. It really was. I can't really condone it. I've gone for a 7.5. I can see a lot of people saying 7s and 7s. 7.5, 7.5. I am saying 7.5 as well. Cool. I agree with that one. Let's move on to Rhys James. Absolutely pocketed Zaha. Solid performance from him again. Did he have loads to do like he did against Vinicius? Not as much, I don't think. But then again, second half, coming in midfield, playing the balls quicker, stepping up, getting us, getting the team moving. For me, Rhys James is just a class act, man. He really is. For me, I keep saying it, out of all the Cobham players that we have, he is the most gifted, technically. And he's only going to get better and better and better for me in Rhys James. He deserves to be... he's just going to be better. He's just going to keep getting better and better for me. So... big up to Rhys James as well on that one. I'm going to give him probably give Rhys James a 7.5 as well. I thought he was good as well. Rhys James with the 7.5. Now we're going to move on to the midfield. And we're going to move on to Alonso. Now, I thought our wing-backs were pretty poor, to be honest. Offensively, they gave us nothing. Defensively, they didn't do much wrong, personally. So, for me, it wasn't Alonso's greatest performance. But then, yet again, we know what we get when it comes to Alonso. We know what Alonso brings. So, you know, to give a real quick answer to Alonso's performance, for me, it's probably a 5. I've gone for a 5 for Alonso. Seppers is 6, 5 or 6, 6, 5, 6, 5, 5.5. 2 seconds, guys. Give me 2 seconds. Thank you very much. Oh, I got some food again. Mincemeat and rice. Can't beat the mincemeat and rice, guys. Yeah, for me, 6.5 is fair enough. 6.5, 6.4. You're shitting yourself, mate. That's what I'm going to say. You are pooing your pants. Yous are pooing your pants, that is Chelsea. That's all I'm going to say. Azpilicueta. Again, same performance as Alonso for me. Not very good attacking-wise. Very slow with the ball. Had that scissor kick which hit his knee, which was quite poor. Didn't really do anything with it. Defensively, didn't do much wrong. I don't know. 5? Just don't like him as a wing-back. If he plays, he should be a right centre-back and that's it. Shouldn't be playing him as a wing-back. 5 for me. 5. 6. 6, 6, 6, 6. Yeah, I get that. But still not enough. Still not enough for me. It's just not his position. I don't blame him because it's just not his position. Don't like seeing him there. Yeah, Ram's shit in his pants, mate. Ram is shit in his pants. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, let's move on to the midfield. Let's start with... Where is he? Georgina. Absolutely shocking first half. Like, I would go to as far to say a 2 or a 1. The second half, he was better for the tactical switch from Tuchel. Gave him more time on the ball. Like I said to you guys earlier on when we done the tactical breakdown. He was better. Overall, his performance wasn't still amazing. He does slow the game down. So slow. He is so slow. He's very weak. And we do need a DM. As much as people don't want to, like, you know, I say as most people want to hear it, but some people that don't like hearing it, he's just not a good DM. For me, it's a 4. 4 for J5. 4 for J5 all day. 4.5, 4. Yeah, the pre-assist, but is it enough again? You know, why does it take him that long? Why can he not do that at the beginning of the game? Why couldn't we do that? And maybe it was a tactical thing, but he still took too many touches. He got caught on the ball. He's looking at his feet. He never looks up. Never looks up. He's always looking at his feet. Slows us down completely. Always wants to go backwards and wants to go sideways. You know, the problem with Georgina is he can do it. He can actually do it. He can be progressive all the time and release the ball quicker, but he chooses not to do it. That's on Georgina. Big up, Dylan. I'd like to see you in the house, my man. He's a freak. Yeah, he just wasn't good enough, man. Well, not good enough. I ain't going to rate Kovacic because he got injured. I just hope he gets better. But Ruben Loftus-Cheek, again, we saw the best of him yesterday, but I keep saying it. He is an 8. He's not 6. And he is not a wing-back. He is an 8. And in the second half, just confirmed again, and for Tuchel, he should be using him like that. If we're going to have no Kovacic, if Kovacic is not going to be available for a couple of games, and we're going to play Ruben, Kante can play with J5 plays. They can just switch between each other. But play Ruben further up the pitch from that. Play him as an 8. Let's see how we get on with that. Keep the team exactly the same as we did in the second half and just play that way. Do it again against Arsenal. Let's just see it against a better team. See what happens. That's what I'll do. He was good in the second half. Very good. Great goal. Great finish. Didn't get the man of the match. Timo Werner got man of the match. He was good. But I'm going to give him a 7.5. Because in the first half, he wasn't good. And I love Ruben Loftus-Cheek. But I don't blame him because he's just not a 6. I keep telling people this. 7.5 for Ruben Loftus-Cheek for me. 7 missing first half, good in the second. 8. 7.5, yeah. Josh says 8.5. Josh loves Ruben. Bit of Ruben stance of leading there. Let's move because I want to get you guys in. Let's go on to Mason Mount. Where is he? Money. Got his goal again. Was very quiet in the game. Didn't see enough of the ball. Don't really entirely blame him personally. I do think we moved the ball well too slow to get to the forward line. But he scored a goal. So for me, Mason Mount is a 6.5. If he didn't score that goal, it would have been a 5. If he didn't score that goal, it would have been a 5 for me all day. But in this game, he scores. He steps up. His outputs are good. And he's a starter. He is a starter. He needs to be a starter and he should be playing. 7, I'd say, was quiet in the game, but the goal was good. Worked better in the second half with Werner. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because of the tactical switch, Dylan. Moving Ruben further up the pitch as an 8 and leaving Georgina with more time on the ball, which allowed us to be quicker with the ball. Mason was a 6 until the goal. 6.5 for me. 6.5 for me. Let's move from that. We move on to Kai Havertz, who I thought was the worst out of the 3 up front. I thought he was the worst out of the 3, and I love Havertz. I love him. Yesterday, he took well too many touches. He kept coming deep. He kept finding himself in positions that he shouldn't have found himself in. He needs to be more higher up the pitch. Lost the ball. Got a silly yellow card. And all-round game was very average for me. Better in the second half. He got more involved. Sometimes he just does too much. He just tries too much to always find the ball in positions that he shouldn't find it. I don't want to see him on the right. I don't want to see him next to Georgina. I want to see him up the other end of the pitch, linking up, and he done that going on to Ruben Loftus-Cheek's goal. That was better. He wasn't the best. Out of the 3, he was the worst, which is unusual for Kai Havertz. So maybe it's the amount of games he's playing. I don't know, but maybe it's just one game that he wasn't great in. For me, I see you're giving him 6.5s and whatever, but for me, he was a 4.5. You know, Havertz was a 4.5 for me, and I'm Havertz's biggest fan. He just wasn't good enough yesterday. You know, but it's okay. It's okay to have games like that because he will pop back and he will score goals and he will have better games. Yeah, the dive. I've got the dive as well, but anyway. Not good from Kai Havertz. Then we move on to Timo Werner, who got man of the match, and for me, overall, was the best player on the pitch, I feel. Now, everyone else had their own opinions, maybe Ruben, whatever. Every time he received the ball in the first half, he used it well. He made some good runs down the wing. He set up Aspie, who absolutely kerfuffled the shot. He then came out in the second half once the tactical switch had come in more. He was even more effective. His runs were good. His decision-making was good. His setting up of goals was good. He played to his strengths. Consistently, and I keep saying about being consistently, he's been very consistent in the last 3 games. For me, he's an 8.5 or an 8. 8 probably. 8 or an 8.5. If he just scored the goal, it would have been a 9. He was very good. Out of all 3 of them, he was our best. You know, and it's good to see that he's being consistent. And he just looks quicker. He looks more composed. Composure is the biggest word for me with him. He just looks better. It's just whether or not he can be consistent with his performance now, moving forward. You know, the link's in the chat. Come and join me. Link is in the chat. You want to talk about Lukaku? There you go. Just for you guys to make your decisions up. What do you think of Lukaku's performance when he come on the pitch? Come on. Josh, what you saying?
Hey, what's up, Jim? How you doing?
I'm not bad, mate. I'm not bad. Tell me about the game yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it all pretty much. The first half was very kind of lethargic, a little bit all over the place, kind of tough to build that link from the midfield to the forward line. I think George really struggled. I think that's why you saw Mount struggle a little bit because he didn't have anybody to really get him the ball from the midfield. But yeah, second half, some changes. I think Tuchel got in their ass a bit at halftime as well. And yeah, much more aggressive, looked much better in the second half. Beautiful goal from Ruben. I mean, that is like, listen, man, that those kind of goals are, and when you watch it back, that's pure laces through the boot type stuff.
Great goal.
Absolutely smashed it. And then Mason's goal as well, just absolutely beautiful. The touch, the touch in space, left it to himself. Fantastic finish. Yeah, man, Romelu, I thought, Kai didn't play so great yesterday. I mean, I'll give him a little bit of slack because he's been carrying the load at that position for pretty much the last month and a half. I thought Romelu had a chance if he puts that goal in the second half to maybe steal a start in the next game. But, of course, he shanks it wide. Yeah, tough first half. But, yeah, overall, good to get into another final. Been absolutely crushing getting into finals this season. And I know Rams will probably be in here, but Konate is shitting himself having to deal with Werner for 90 minutes in that final. So yeah, we'll see, man.
Werner's performances, from what you've seen in the last 3 games.
Oh, he was fantastic, man. He's been absolutely incredible the last 3 games. He really has been doing it all: passing, making runs, scoring goals. The footwork inside the box has been extremely tidy. He was great again yesterday. Yeah, I mean, like, you just got to let him roll, man. Like, we this is how we've been this season. You got to kind of play the hot hand, and we've had different players at different times this season be hot, and we went with them, and he deserves that exact same chance. He's been hot. You let him roll.
Yeah, I keep saying to people, you've got to give this guy a chance. I was on a show yesterday where they were saying, why are people hyping Werner? Like, he didn't have a good performance. And I was
Not really.
What do you mean?
I think you only give him a chance if you play this formation.
It doesn't matter. Out of all of the forwards that we've got at the moment, he's consistent.
Yeah, for the last 3 games.
He's consistent.
Well, where was he the rest of the season?
Doesn't matter. Forget that. What's he doing at the moment?
Yeah, but
tell me another player that deserves to be in front of him on consistency. Go on.
If we play a 3 up front, I'd play Pulisic over him.
Why?
Because Werner can't play on the left wing or left forward.
We're playing 3-4-3, just with Werner a bit more central.
Yeah, and Mount as the attacking midfielder. That's why Werner's been playing so well, because he has Havertz next to him.
But no, we're just playing players in positions that are working, and the 3 between them, in terms of their chemistry, is working very well at the moment.
I do think our best 3, like, chemistry-wise, is Mount, Havertz, Werner, but no, man.
I don't think I've seen any 3 that has had very good chemistry.
Nah, I disagree.
So who?
I think Mount, Havertz, Werner have very good chemistry.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, other than these 3, who else has really good chemistry? Yeah. Who else?
I thought earlier in the season when it was Havertz, Mount, Cho, that was good 3.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's kind of what I was just saying. Like, that we've had flows throughout the season where it's been different players, different 3s at different times of the season. Yeah. Right now it's these 3, and you just got to let them cook. I mean,
listen. Yeah, look, we give him a lot of slander, this guy. Yeah, and rightly he deserves that he's not been great this season, Werner. But, at the moment, he's doing what we need him to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter where he's playing and he's effective. And that's what I want from a player.
And he's been an absolute pro, to be honest with you. As much shit as he's taken, it's kind of like as tough as the season has been for him, and you haven't really heard a word out of him about complaining and things like that. So he's been pretty much a pro on that front as well.
I agree. W, what else? I mean, what was your thoughts on the overall game? Like, obviously, the first half wasn't great. Second half was better. Like, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought the first half was just awful, man. Like, it was just so slow. Like, Georgina, I think he gets gassed up too much, man. Like, he's just so slow on the ball, man. I think the second half, until the goal, was just boring. Until Loftus-Cheek just changed the game with that great finish. Then after that, Crystal Palace had to come out. They brought on Elise and Benteke, and they left the midfield wide open. And that's how we got the second goal. And after that, we just cruised and kept possession.
Yeah, you're right. And I think ultimately they had to do that because they were chasing the game. And I think for them, it was just how long could they keep us at bay. Once Ruben scored that first goal, we just looked even more comfortable, I thought.
Yeah, exactly.
But, we got the job done. It wasn't an easy game, but we got the job done, and that's the most important thing. And now going to the Arsenal game we kind of need to beat them, don't we? Because it's Arsenal at the end of the day. We need to shut them up anyway. So we'll be talking about that at a later point. Dylan, what you saying, man?
How you doing, mate? You good?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. How was the game? Did you go to the game yesterday? You did, didn't you?
Yeah, I got shafted into the upper tier with my dad. I literally spent £65 on Cat 2 to get shafted in upper tier.
That ain't good, mate, is it?
Nah. It was all right, though, honestly. No, I felt like the atmosphere in the stadium could have definitely been better. We definitely lacked atmosphere yesterday. It was kind of more embarrassing. We had more atmosphere at the pub than we did in the stadium. So
why, though? What's wrong with it?
I don't know. I don't understand where the atmosphere went, really. Like the pub, like being at the Globe at the pub yesterday, it was fucking brilliant. Like everyone was popping flares, celery was like flying all over the place. Like it was fucking brilliant. But as soon as the stadium and like the game kicked off, I just felt like the atmosphere dipped. Nothing really came about it. Palace did their whole ritual at the beginning of the game. To be fair, their atmosphere was fucking brilliant. They had flags. They had like tons of pyros everywhere. Their atmosphere was good, but yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of embarrassing from us, really, if I'm being honest. But
what's your thoughts on the game, though? Like, obviously, we didn't start off. I mean, how did it look at the first half? Because from the TV, it looked absolutely shocking.
First half was boring. You know what? I felt like I was watching Fulham play rather than Chelsea. I'm not gonna lie. We was just slow. Didn't really have any leadership about the team. Just lacked capacity. Really, didn't have any people making enough chances. I felt like Havertz just eliminated himself in the first half, even though he eliminated himself from the whole game, really. But the fact that he was eliminated, there wasn't enough people like creating chances. So, first half was just poor, very poor.
What's your thoughts on the forward line? Obviously, Timo Werner. How did he look? Did he look quite good?
Werner was okay. I didn't really think he did much wrong. He was just quiet most of the game. I was kind of surprised he was given man of the match, to be honest. But to be honest, I couldn't think of anybody else that really played better and deserved it, to be honest. So,
what about Ruben?
Maybe Ruben, arguably. I mean, his goal was fantastic. Took a tiny deflection, but overall is a class goal. So, apart from that, I probably would have given it to Ruben if not for Werner. So.
Interesting. So what did you do after? Did you go out after? Did you go home? What happened? Did you not see people?
No, I went home. It was a nightmare getting home afterwards. Like, just the whole annoying thing at Wembley is everybody's like going to one tube station. So it takes like an hour to actually get to the station.
I would have just stayed down and had a couple of drinks. Personally.
Probably. We didn't have Box Park though yesterday, so we didn't have anywhere like close to go for drinks. So.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Matt, Mendy masterclass yesterday, wasn't it? What do you think about the overall performance?
No, it was boring first half, man. I mean, watching the game at 3:30, I nearly fell asleep like so many times. But second half, we kicked up a bit. But on this thing about Georgina, I mean, you, Jem, we were speaking to Con about this halftime, and you agreed with it that Georgina was getting overrun because there was no one there to give him that second-hand wingman to kind of be like, hang on, there's 4 or 5 people behind you, or give him any options. I'm not deflecting the fact he was pure shocking yesterday. He was shocking. There was some times he could just at least play it back or do something, but most of the time when Kovacic came off, as soon as Kovacic came off, there was no one filling in that spot in front of Georgina. So if you give an example, Georgina would be standing there, and there'd be no one to the left of him, and then Aston would be too far upright. So I think the point that, something like that, and but Loftus-Cheek, wouldn't even be. He wouldn't even be kind of calling for the ball making option. I'm not blaming Loftus-Cheek for that positioning, but Georgina overall, it was shocking, but I don't think it was a massive problem that people are going to come and obviously put the all the pressure and all the blame on him. No, it's not, because you just want to give someone the anger off. Fair enough, you can give your anger off to Georgina, go for it. But when you got someone like Loftus who's there, fantastic goal for him. But an exception to the rule doesn't make the rule. 3 years at being an attacking midfielder, it's his first goal. He's still on that silent list. As soon as August comes up, I think he changed the game. He did well. If he continues this,
what is this bum on about?
A lie. Loftus-Cheek did way more than Jorginho.
Did I say that?
Matt, what's your thing? I didn't say Matt, what's your thing with Ruben Loftus-Cheek? Like, why do you not feel that he's good enough for Chelsea?
He's been here 6-7 years. He's been given loan spells. It hasn't worked out. I think he's a fantastic player, but give him into another team, he'll do fantastic. He didn't do anything at Fulham. What was the reason why we bring him in this team? What evidence shown that him at Fulham would have been better in this team? He comes
you mean like team, 8 months after he ruptured his Achilles, he didn't do anything? Like,
yeah, he was
like an injury career. I was a massive fan of Loftus-Cheek, but unfortunately, he's had injury problems like majority of players, and that's a shame. But people want to keep him in this team because he's gone through so much of his injuries. Let's just keep him. I think Loftus-Cheek, he's got a squad depth on paper, but put him in this team. He's not going to come and show up like this every single game. He hasn't done this twice.
He's played three exceptional games in a row.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
He's done it here. He done a Brentford 2 weeks ago, and he did it once in October against what's the team? Not Luton, the other one in the FA Cup game, and that's it. Besides that, he's been useless. I would give him the end of the season.
Matt's right. Tuchel really messed up by not putting someone out there to hold Jorginho's hand for 90 minutes. That's really what he needed.
No, because Jorginho has been turning up in games. Not only one half doesn't make him a bad player. And again, it's not even half of his fault. He's not a bad player. It's just because he's slow and he's not a modern footballer. People realize that they like Loftus-Cheek because he does his feints, he does his skills, and that's why people love him. Jorginho, at least he's composed on the ball. He gives us more.
Loftus-Cheek has composed on the ball.
Yeah, but Matt, you could say the same thing. You could say the same thing about Hudson-Odoi. He does all these skills, runs down the pace, runs down the wing. But where's his shooting quality though? Hudson-Odoi ain't got shooting quality.
Man, Hudson-Odoi is a baller, man. What are you about?
We can say Saul. We can say Saul's versatile. That's the same thing people say Loftus-Cheek, but Saul's not good. Same as Loftus-Cheek. You can't put him in a wing back. You can't put him in a DM. He can only play in a 10. And when he plays in 10,
you're just waffling now.
He's dropped 2 great games at wing back. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Against
Real Madrid. No, he wasn't. He was rubbish at wing back.
Oh, is that why Tuchel said he was excellent 2 games in a row at wing back?
I'm going to be honest
here. He's going to come out and say he's shit. He's going to come out and be like, yeah, Loftus is shit. He's not going to say that.
No, he wouldn't play him.
Exactly.
No one has to play. He has to play him. He has to.
He don't.
Who's he going to play? He has to play him.
He has to play him.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest because I think Matt's really on one side, and then I think sometimes there's too much on the other side. I've had when it comes to Loftus-Cheek, I actually honestly feel the best Loftus-Cheek is an A. When you play him as a 6, I don't really like him there. I think his positional sense is not the greatest to be in that position. And I think as a wing back, which we have seen him play very well against, was it Southampton the first game he played there, yeah?
And Madrid.
And then Real Madrid. I actually think the Real Madrid game, he wasn't actually that great. I mean, he offensively was very good. But what I didn't like, and I don't blame him for it, it's not his fault. People need to understand this. It's not his fault. He's being asked to play in a position that is not his position. That's what people need to understand. Like, to play as a wing back, you've got to be positionally aware if you're with the ball, but also without the ball. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is not aware without the ball in his position as a wing back, and that's just not his fault. That's why I prefer him to be where he was yesterday.
How many goals did Vinny score against Chelsea in that Real Madrid second leg?
Yeah, but that was more Rhys James. Come on,
That's fair.
James.
That's fair. But that's also the two of them working together as well.
Look,
I
just
just
watch
don't
the
think
game and
that's
you
his
see Loftus-Cheek
position,
was nowhere near that
you know?
defense line.
Like, it's
Loftus-Cheek
not
was
that I
nowhere
hate
near that defense.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I just don't think that's him. Like, that's not where we should be asking him to play. He should be having the freedom, like I did earlier, to find himself here where he was yesterday, which is sitting next to Mount as an 8, and Havertz and Werner were playing a bit more up here to then pick the ball up in the pockets of spaces and worry about doing this rather than having to sit here next to J5 and do little 1-2s to each other, and then what's he gonna do? And then try and break from
I
here.
don't disagree with you there. I think anything in an attacking role is best position. That's why at wing back he does so well, because our wing backs are basically attacking midfielders the way they play. And I'll take him not 10 out of 10 days at wing back over Asby any day of the week.
Aspie's not great at wing back. We know that as well. I agree with you. I think we have a problem there. Really do.
I was actually shocked. I was actually shocked why we shoved Rhys James into the centre back 3 position. I didn't understand that.
I think you were scared because of Zaha coming, just in case.
Tuchel loves him at right centre back, man.
Just a question.
Just quickly, let me just do this quick donation from Martin. Big up to you. Thank you for that. He says Frank used to stick him on the wing. Tuchel's been playing him at 6. You put him in his actual position and he performs. What a shocker. And that's what I'm saying. That is exactly what I've just showed him.
Don't call him a versatile player then. Don't say we have him for depth if you can't play these positions. Like, everyone says he can play 6, he can play wing back. No, he can't. He only plays one position, and when he does come in that position, he plays once a year in that position. So don't call him for squad depth.
He is a squad player. Don't get me wrong. Like, you can use him. What I'm saying is, there's certain players you just can't play in a certain position. He can play as a 6, but he's just not. You're not going to get the best of him. And you can play him as a wing back. Again, you're not going to get the best of him, but he'll still do a job. That's the difference. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. I just feel like I want to see the best of him all the time, because I think he's a very good player when on his day in his position. That's it.
Jem, can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
This whole James and Aspie thing, because I was actually quite surprised about that. I thought it was going to be the other way around. So you're playing us in the final. Do you think that Tuchel is going to do that? James at centre back, Aspie at wing back.
I think it's something that I keep telling people this. They don't like it when I say it. I think Tuchel thinks James in the long run is going to be a right centre back.
Agreed.
And people don't want to hear it. But I actually think that he wants. I actually prefer him as a wing back, because I feel that he offers so much the other way. It's something that we need offensively moving forward. But then I fully understand why he plays as a right centre back against the likes of people like Zaha, probably Mane, and etc. Because when you play Chalobah there, we've seen it's slightly inconsistent, but that's not his fault. It's just because he's just walked into the team this is his first season. He's going to need time to bed. Christensen is going. Aspie can play there and do a job, but you can't ask him to do it for 38 games. And especially don't want him to do it against players that have got pace. So Rhys James coming in there and playing there for me could be a potential thing for the Liverpool game. Yeah, I think could happen.
That's why do you think he wanted Hakimi? Because he wanted Rhys at right centre back and Hakimi at right wing back. That was the idea all along for the most part. But it is what it is. I think there's a strong chance he could play right centre back against Liverpool.
The only reason why I'm asking this is because personally, for me as a Liverpool fan, if I see Rhys James and centre back Aspie right wing back, yes, you might be more defensively solid, I guess. But going forward, is it right for me to say Aspie offers nothing?
Yeah, and I don't think it will be Aspie. I don't think it will be Aspie at right wing back against Liverpool.
It could be Ruben. It could be Ruben. It could be. To be honest, I don't think we have many options. The problem is, Samuel, and I keep saying this with Tuchel, and I don't blame Tuchel for it. I don't think he has much options. I think he just tries to accommodate players in positions where he knows that he knows it's not their strengths, but he just doesn't have a choice. It's like trying to find a tune out of a car. You know what I mean? Just so it runs for now. Do you know what I mean? That's how I feel with Tuchel at the moment. But we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to Liverpool. I wanted Liverpool anyway, so I'm looking forward to our game, mate, on the FA Cup. It's going to be a good one. We'll definitely do a preview for that, and you can come on as well. We'll do a preview 100% on it. Matty, let's talk to Matty quick. Matty, what are you saying, my man?
To be fair, I mean, we're only using Loftus-Cheek right now because we haven't actually got anybody else to fill that void. And to be honest with you, the way that I see James as well as a centre-back, he is a decent centre-back, and he's probably the only one that can fill in a shift because Silva was quite tired or fatigued or whatever. So obviously it made sense to have a more competent defender in that position. In my opinion, I think if I'm honest. I mean, I somewhat agree with Matt, if I'm honest. I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek has got... He's a decent backup player, but I wouldn't use him as a first-team player. He's more rotation than anything else. J5, I mean, don't get me started on the guy. I mean, he didn't have a leg to stand on really the first 45 minutes. It was only because he got a good kick up the ass that he actually started performing. Werner turned up again. So W, I'm waiting to hear why Pulisic is better than Werner. So feel free. After all, Pulisic has gone missing throughout the half the season. Werner, I've seen more from Werner in the last 3 games than I have from Pulisic in the last 2 seasons. So, I mean, feel free to enlighten me.
He's had moments. So you think about the Real Madrid game last in the semi-finals, like it was imperative. He scored.
Yeah, but moments isn't good enough, Gems. You can't just base it on 1 or 2 moments.
I know,
He's got to be consistent.
What I'm trying to get at is that what you just said there. None of them are fucking consistent.
No, exactly. That's the problem. This sums up Chelsea as a whole. No player is fucking consistent. That is the problem. No player is fucking consistent at all.
We've got a lot of dead wood, though. We have got a lot of dead wood, and to be honest with you, until we get the owners in place and get rid of a few, then we can start by properly getting this, hopefully Bowley system in place where we actually scout decent players and actually put them into positions. You'll see the likes of Jules Koundé and the likes of Tchouaméni coming in that will do better than the likes of Georgina and
I don't think we're going to get Tchouaméni. I think hasn't he been rumored to Madrid?
Nah. We're leaning at him actually. At the obviously, still speculation.
We don't need him anyway, man.
Huh? What? Who said that? Who said we don't need him?
Me.
We don't need Tchouaméni.
Yeah, we could. Declan Rice is better.
That's it.
What?
Hey, mate, hold on.
Is he? Hold on. Is he worth 150 million? I don't think.
Don't worry about that. Can you explain to me this Bowley data system? So before you jump ahead and Tchouaméni, how's it work? The data system. Hello.
Who are you asking?
Not you, Matt. TFC, Matty.
What's that? Sorry, I completely missed that question.
He said Matty said that he couldn't wait till we get the Bowley system in. Todd Bowley system, transfer system in.
Right. What's your point?
And I'm asking what is that system?
That system is he's using statistics, he's using facts, he's also going to be using a proper scouting system, which is something that we haven't had before. Hence why you've had the likes of certain players that we've brought in that we haven't really scouted properly. You only have to look at the likes of Danny Drinkwater for a start. You only have to look at certain other players that we've brought in, whereas he will have a proper scouting system in place. That's what I'm saying to you.
I kind of have to agree with that in a sense. I kind of agree with it because, like, over the last few years, we've kind of looked at it from statistical backgrounds on, like, who's been performing the best in that season. We go and pick them up, spend a load of money on them. They come to Chelsea and they completely fucking flop.
Like Lukaku.
Wait, hold on. Maddie said that we're gonna start using statistics now.
Hang on a minute. I didn't finish. If you don't believe me on that fact, there's many examples of that. Alvaro Morata, Fernando Torres, but he did actually bring himself up, did score to get in the Champions League final. But Torres didn't really do a lot apart from getting us into the Champions League final. We have to admit that. Diego Costa did most. He won the Premier League and all that, but then he had that second season where he was fucking horrific. Who else has been a fucking flop at Chelsea? There's been quite a few. We have to admit it. We've had
there's been quite a few signings too, but Matty just said that we didn't use statistics before, and now we're going to use statistics. You said we have been using one season statistics. Just so you know, everyone's been propping up this Todd Bowley's data system, acting like other clubs or we never used data before, and that we don't have scouts at the clubs. The scouts that you actually need are the players you don't know. Maybe Rhys James, the Mount, Chalobah, all the young players that you were praising at the moment have come from scouts that you didn't even know about. Mendy, you know what I mean? I find that Chelsea never get praise, and as soon as Liverpool has a few lucky things, and they connect it to Moneyball, just so you know, Todd Bowley, doesn't own a football club. His baseball team He's
I
talking.
wouldn't call
He
it
hasn't
lucky.
told you. Hold on. He hasn't announced who he's bringing in that's going to take over. You know, a professional. He hasn't said anything. So to hang on some hope.
I don't know why we've gone down this route because we don't really know much, do we? Like,
Because Matty said it, and I've been going around. Sorry, Jim, I did hijack the topic. I've been going around to anyone that says it and asking if they could explain it to me, and it's been unsuccessful.
Declared. Explain to me the game yesterday.
Yes. I'll try and make it quick. It was good. It was a little cagey at the start, and I was getting that feeling that we weren't going to score, and like players like Rhys James did a great job. Zaha was so quiet. Christensen, even Rudiger, all kept it pretty good. They had a sniff. They should have had a goal as well. But besides, outside that, they barely saw any chances. But up front, a little bit like last time, Tool, Loftus-Cheek's got that goal, and it was smooth sailing from then. When they had to actually open up a little bit, the game was well in our hand, and I felt it was good, well in control. A lot of players stepped up, like Werner and even Aspie had a unique role, and he did well in that, ran a lot, and even Loftus-Cheek stepped up, who wasn't prepared for the game, and came in for cover. So overall, it was good.
It was good.
Plus, we rested it felt like we rested a few players, like Silva to come on.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we've got Arsenal on Wednesday. What we do with that, I don't know. Maybe Lukaku would have started if he'd scored that goal rather than hitting the post. That would have been a good start. But
Yeah, you got the Werner bug or something. That was pretty much 6-yard box. I don't know. People said he doesn't get service. I don't know what else he could ask for. You couldn't ask for anything better than that.
I had
maybe it was his right foot. That's why.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know what I mean? Winter Surfer. How are you, mate? And what do you think about the game? Obviously, the first half was poor, second half was better. I mean, I kind of said to people that I thought it was more of a tactical switch more than anything, because people said, "Oh, J5 was better in the second half than the first," but I actually feel that Ruben Loftus-Cheek was pushed further up the pitch, more like an 8, which kind of like works better for us moving forward. So, what was your thoughts on the overall game?
First half was a non-event, really. Second half was far better, and I just think it was the two pieces of class football, really. That was all that, and Palace really never laid a glove on us. They were controlled, really. They didn't really do anything. I thought they missed Gallagher, which is on them. They know the rules at the start of the season when they loan a player. But other than that, I thought it was, we're probably going to hear this term a lot, professional performance. I thought it was one of those where we just did enough. We didn't have to exert ourselves.
Did you understand the sort of the ups, the roar from the Chelsea fans in the first? Because obviously you're on Twitter as well, but everyone seemed to blame Georgina for the first half. Like, did you understand that?
No, I thought him and Kovacic were both poor. I know Kovacic got injured, but I thought they were both poor in the first half. Remember, it's the double pivot, so both can't be. One can't be more at fault than the other. I thought they were both that, and maybe that's to be expected of Kovacic. He's a bit. He seems to be getting these end of season injuries a lot. They can't get to the end of the season without picking up an injury. And and Jorginho, I just think Jorginho's not in form, and I don't know if Jorginho is the best in a double pivot as well. Maybe a trio in midfield suits him better, like when he's in Italy, when he's got like that around him. But listen, I'm going to say this. This is the only time I'll say it. When we do streams in the summer, Jem, I think midfield now has become priority as a transfer instead of like wing backs. I think midfield is the number one priority this summer, where it's getting people back or replacing.
I think they're both as bad as each other, though. I mean, look at Aspie yesterday. Like, it's just the wing backs.
I will say this. I thought Rhys James had another great game defensively, which I think he stands out above others in the right back. If you want to do a right back debate. He's better defensively than any of them. It's not even close. But and also
I would argue that.
Well, it's okay. But
Don't worry, Winter. We have a debate later on
he
about
wrapped
Winter.
up a great Vinicius this season when Trent couldn't last season. So let's do that one.
Well, no,
But,
we'll do that after. We'll do that after.
I will do that afterwards. It's all good. I actually, do you know what? I can't be bothered to extend it during these debates. I really can't. I was messing. But yeah, I thought it was a professional performance, Jim. Nothing outstanding, just from those two.
Does it still work?
What?
Oh, go on. Sorry, someone's talking. So, yeah.
Yeah, W was getting told off by his mum.
Let's see how Werner does on a smaller pitch on Wednesday, right, Jim?
Yeah, I mean,
See how he does on a smaller pitch.
Do you not feel he had a good game yesterday?
I do. But I was reading stuff online yesterday. It's like,
yeah. Well, do you know what?
He seems to.
I think we need to grow our pitch, don't we?
Yeah.
Maybe we should like get rid of the lower stands and just spread it out.
We need to
Chelsea
expand
at
our
home on
pitch
Wednesday?
for one player. For one player, we need to expand our pitch for one player.
Timo Werner needs bigger pitches to get better performances, guys. That is the answer to Timo Werner.
We
Wait,
just play
Chelsea
him
at home on
away.
Wednesday?
We won't play him at home. We just play him in away
Yeah.
games. Don't play him at home. That's all. But yeah, professional performance in the end.
He deserves to be in the team though, right? Because he's for the last 3 games.
He does. But I'm not all for this. Oh, let's give him another season. This to me is so far. This to me is an aberration of his Chelsea career so far. This month so far, is an aberration. It's a good aberration, but I'm not ready.
Maybe
to
this
go.
is his last cry to stay in the team. When it's like to say, I want to stay.
Can I be cynical, Jim? I think he's putting himself in the shop window. If I'm being
He
cynical.
just looks so much quicker now. Have you noticed it? He just looks fucking rapid.
He does. So what was he doing during the winter months? What was he doing? Storing food like a bear or something?
It's not that. If he played like that for most of the season, I think most of the Chelsea fans wouldn't moan. They'd just be like, "Yeah,
of course not.
No, of course not. If he adds goals to his, if he added goals to his games, I don't think anyone would bemoan him. But he just doesn't add goals to his games.
Doesn't do it.
Winter. Yeah. Who would you rather sell, Rand? I know you probably would rather sell both of them, but who would you rather sell, Lukaku or Werner?
Okay.
Do you know?
Is that even a debate? It's got to be fucking Lukaku, mate. You can't like with the form Werner's on. I'm sorry. I know I know Werner's ghosting most of the season, mate. But Lukaku's just unheard of, mate. He's got to go.
Yeah,
he has to
go. Do you know what? You
Look,
you just asked there. That's a question of which dog shit I want to step in to get.
Yeah, no.
It's like,
I refer to the comment that I posted to Jem moments ago about who would I rather have, a retired Emil Heskey or a one-legged Fernando Torres I'd choose over Lukaku.
Do you know how much they're earning? They're earning over 600 grand a week between them.
You're in the wrong job, aren't we? We're in the wrong job.
That's the wrong thing. That's the thing. I'm going to cheat. I'm not going to say which one. I get rid of them both. If I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, the only reason why I asked that is because
I think Werner suits our system better, though. I think it suits.
I don't think they both go. I think one goes, the other stays.
I don't know. I don't know if we can get the amount we want to get for Lukaku that we can get for.
Oh, no,
the thing is, we'll have to sacrifice losing money on him. So
yeah, he's depreciated a lot, man.
Yeah, but we bought him at 100 mil. If PSG said, "Oh, we want him for 60 mil," I'll take it. I'll be like, "Here you go, 60 mil."
I'd drive him there.
I'd drive him there.
We know how they.
Yeah, but with a servant, he didn't spend the 100 mil. Remember that?
No. But what I'm saying is, we've seen this current board, not sell a player over 5 million difference between an offer and what they want, like Michy Batshuayi. So I know exactly, and that would say to me that if they do accept it, that's fine. But I don't know if this board currently wouldn't accept 60 million for him. We know that.
I think the new owners might do it.
Yeah, exactly. Changing that.
This is my view, though. I think they're both going because they're both going to push for a move. I think they both want to play first team, being a World Cup year. Yeah, Werner's going to do well in a Bundesliga team. I think he wants to go back. I think like Andrew said, he's putting himself in the shop window. I think he himself was so positive, and then after that national team game, the German national team game, he actually started criticizing the system. So he's starting to believe now that he could do better somewhere else. Lukaku was gone a long time ago. He already made a decision 4 months in that he didn't want to be here, right? So I think they're both going because they're both going to push for the move, right? And when you do that, Chelsea have to take a cut. And the new owners, I think the new owners are listening to the fans and would just go, get rid of him, and we're going to have a good transfer window.
These new owners, I believe, in my opinion, these new owners will look at numbers and the wages and whether players justify them. These two don't justify the wages we're paying them. Yeah, they do not.
Are these your
justify-
highest earners?
Yeah, both. Yeah, well, Lukaku definitely is, and Werner earns 275k a week.
My
Yeah.
word.
Yeah, so you're looking at
Yeah,
over
I don't
600
know.
grand a week for just
How much?
these
How
two
much
players.
for? How much for?
Lukaku, Kante, and Werner are above the rest of them
Yeah,
by
way
almost
way above.
yeah,
Yeah.
by nearly 100k. I think it's 90k,
Yeah.
right?
It's 90k. It's like two.
Yeah,
I think,
80K.
190 or something
Yeah, so-
like that.
So there's a big gap. Those three players are meant to be spots for our best players. And
Yeah.
when you guys think about transfers and talk about I want this player, you just got to remember that these wages are preventing any transfers or any good player from
That's
coming
very
in,
true.
right? So that's how you guys got to look at it too. When people
And
have
contract renewals as well.
Yeah.
Renewals as well. Yeah.
you want Rudiger to get a contract, these guys prevent it. So people are sentimental when they're like, "Oh, Werner did well," but you got to look at that price and think that he's preventing transfers coming in. He's preventing contract renewals, and he's meant to be carrying our team. He's not meant to be doing well. He's meant to be doing great.
Yeah, you cut your losses on dead weight and then try and sort out Rudiger's contract,
Yeah,
get him what he wants to
That's
sign,
a
and then
must.
up
That's a
his
must.
priority. That is a must. Yeah.
That's a must. That's a must. You have to.
After his performance against Madrid,
And-
100% getting midfield.
And Jem's right. This new board has got to be different than this old board. If someone comes in, just take the offer. Just take the offer. Do you know what I mean? I'm not being not saying like a derisory, like insulting offer, but if someone comes in for Werner and says, "Here's 35 to 40 million," just take it. Just take it. It's worth it in the end because you get him off the wage bill, 275. You get him off. You get him off. And same with Lukaku. If someone comes in and says 60, take it. You get him off the wage bill, 350 a week. You get him off. And you make nearly 100 million of those two players and the wages as well. More hundreds of millions as well over the time. It's just take it. Just take the hit and then spend that money wisely. That's the other thing as well. Spend it wisely.
Yeah.
They're going to be debt
So,
free. They can take a
yeah.
risk. It's not even wisely. They can be reckless if they want. You know what I mean? They can take risk on players. It's that they got no debt. I do agree. I want every transfer to work out. I'm just saying there's that much leeway that they can be reckless as well. They can overpay for some players. I'm hoping for a good window.
If you can
But
get
do you think it'll be a window though? That's the thing. I don't think we go and spend on
it's
these.
not going to be a high roll. And it's not going to be a high.
I'm just hoping Tushman Kunde. I think that's the only ones when you go for.
Maybe I'm
see more outgoing
maybe I'm
than
hopeful,
comes.
but I think that just the best way to win the fans is transfers.
Yeah.
And I
That's a
think
good-
the first impression, I think they might
But
do it.
do they need to win over the? Does he need to win over the fans by making a massive marquee signing like on Haaland or something? Like I don't know. I don't see it.
That's how you
I
win
think
the
maybe
fans.
we'll
You're
move
not going to
on
win the
players.
fans on someone no name. You know, it's a statement signing. They'll throw in there.
Yeah, but do you think
you
he's
know,
going to go out and buy Haaland like for 150 million or like I don't know?
You,
They-
you
they-
ain't
they
gonna
could.
get
Marquee
Haaland.
signing.
You ain't gonna get
could-
Haaland. I'm sorry.
You're
they
not going to
could
get hard.
they could throw a massive money at Salah. They could make an attempt to buy a big name player that is just gonna. That's all they're gonna be talked about. It's like just what happened with Ronaldo, right? With Man United. Do you remember the Man United fans broke in? They're protesting and all that. And as soon as they got Ronaldo, everything's changed. Everyone forgot about everything, and the fans were they're back on the side. So just a name that everyone's gonna get behind, and it could be like Rice, Tchouameni, that like the fans have been talking about. Maybe Haaland's too hard, but it could be Haaland. It could be just it has to be a name. That's the problem.
Declare, this is what's interesting about you bringing up Ronaldo. What Chelsea need to do, and this is me being just unbiased, you can't get a big name that doesn't fit the system because you've got big names before and it hasn't fit the system. So you need to, if I was a Chelsea fan, I'd rather get someone who maybe not even be a big name, but actually fits the system to get you to places that you need to be, rather than getting a big name. And it shuts the fans up for some time, but then Chelsea fans, like you guys are very quick to criticize your players, whether right or wrong, but then you will turn on them in the middle of the season. That's the only problem.
I agree,
with this
Samuel.
team.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think this is.
Yeah,
I think everyone,
and that's why I said it's part of the problem.
I think everyone needs to this summer, after the transfer window, take a look at the squad, and give them a logical, where do you think you're going to finish, and then also, I am not praising any summer transfer we get until they do something for my club. I don't care what you've done previously. Yeah, do something for my club, and then you'll get the praise. Yeah, that's what I think we went wrong this summer. We beefed up this squad, and it was massive in terms of numbers, but not quality. And we let the European Cup and the Lukaku signing overshadow everything. Right? Let's wait. I want to see. I predict we're going to see more outgoings than incomings this summer. We're going to see a few returns, and like Gallagher's going to return, I believe. Maybe that whatever his name is, Colwell, whatever his name is.
I think we're going to add.
Like
I think we're going to see a lot. I think we're going to see a lot go, and I think we're going to add maybe 2/3 signings. One big one, and then 2 additionals.
I think Koundé's our big one. I think
Koundé is a big one. Yeah,
and then Tchouaméni. I think that's it we go for, because we've been ironing for years, and I think that's all we need. And then I think removals are better. Outings need to be more important, I think.
I think to be fair, in my opinion, I would rather get rid of Lukaku and then go and see if we can get someone like Darwin Núñez or someone like that. Somebody who's
Broja.
Let me just say this. Núñez is not as good.
When are we going to learn?
Darwin Núñez is not as good as people.
He's not as good as people think he is.
Can I just say, can we stay away from strikers, man? Can we just
honestly.
Can we just stay away?
Are we trading Lukaku for Núñez? Is that what Matty said?
Let's stay away from.
Listen, I do think we need to improve on our forward line. I do think. But at the same time, we do need this wing back set out. We need someone in DM, and we're gonna have to buy some defenders because Krusty's going anyway, and Aspie we don't know yet still. So we need.
So Jem, it's more than 2, yeah,
and possibly Rudiger.
But we're not going to do that all at once.
Rudiger.
I would love it if Tuchel got backed and they went, there you go, Tuchel, go and get what you need.
I actually believe we're going to do more, Jem. I reckon we're going to do like about 4. I think one of the issues is
if they sell. They have to sell.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. I feel that there's going to be more selling going on because a lot of the players that don't like their situation, and I even put Ziyech in that boat. There's some players that want to play and that aren't, and that don't like the situation. They usually just stick around till the manager's gone, right? But what happens now? Tuchel's gets a new start with the new owners. So it starts all again. They probably depend on him. They might even give him a new contract. So I think his position gets more solidified, right? Which makes players wonder, well, now I can't wait this out, stick around and wait for something to change. I might have to put him to leave. And I think someone like Ziyech might want to leave, maybe Pulisic. Like there's maybe some players in there that aren't getting the game time that want to, and they're going to push for moves. I think with Werner and Lukaku, I think you might see someone else. And I feel like even with the people coming back, I think we might see 3-4 signings. I feel.
I'm sorry. Can I just interrupt as well? Someone in the chat has literally compared Núñez to Rehab Mahrez. Can we just?
No. I saw that and I said,
can we just talk about that?
Nah, don't give him the attention. It's all right.
Unbelievable.
Let's go to Nick Blue.
They don't even know where they play.
Nick Blue, what are you saying?
Yeah, big up, chaps. Yeah, well, you're talking about something else now. I thought you were talking about the game.
No, talk about the game. Go on, go back to the game. It's fine.
Yeah. It wasn't a great game to watch, really. First half was terrible. We just passed sideways and backwards, and crosses were bad. Everything was good, really. But we held up. Christensen had a good game at the back, really. Rudiger, great. And Rhys James, unbelievable. Rhys James, man of the match for me. He's just getting better every time I see him. Future captain for me, maybe. But a great display by him. Second half, we started a little bit better. We started moving forward a little bit faster. And Werner was running like an idiot. You know, he made some good passes, some crosses. Yeah, he did. He had a good game. And when we made the changes, that really changed the game. Ruben changed it with the first goal. Great display by him. I was saying before, you know, he's not up to it, but he's coming back. I don't see him going. I think he's in the plans for Tuchel next year. He had a great game, great goal. Mason Mount, great goal again. He didn't do much, Mason, but second half he came to life a bit more. I keep saying you, that haircut's done him, great. I wish he has a haircut.
It's giving him magic powers, bruv.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I wish he has
magic
a haircut every
powers.
day. Every day he needs a haircut just to keep
Apparently,
him
it
going.
was actually covering his vision.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
yeah.
I just say
Yeah,
his,
that
his
was a great
his
goal.
mum
Great
did
goal
that
by
with a bowl around
Mount.
it.
Was
That's
a
what his
great
haircut
goal,
looks like.
and yeah, well, we done the job. A lot of people were, Andrew knows I said this before, and Declare heard this before, but the atmosphere, it wasn't so good because we're playing Crystal Palace. That was the main reason. All our fans, we had outnumbered Palace by 10-1. In fans, so we had the big end. We packed it out, but the atmosphere came a little bit better in the second half when we started playing a little bit well. But most of the people there, even the ones I was sitting next to, they couldn't be bothered, because everyone thought that we're going to win. In the end, we're going to win this game, and they wasn't too bothered to back the team. I mean, the team needs backing because they're tired. But I see it. But when it's against Liverpool in the final, it'll be a different story. And when we play United, Arsenal, Tottenham, when we play all these big games, our crowd is good. There's no better crowd than Chelsea. Still, it's just a mentality thing we have with the small sides. That's what I just want to say.
We just need to go and beat Liverpool, man.
Yeah,
That's what we need to
well,
do.
that's it. We have to get revenge now. It was meant to be for them to beat City. I said it when they beat City. It's meant to be, and we have to put them at rest now. Time
We will
for
see.
revenge.
We will see.
No, we
Yeah,
will
so
see. We won't see. We
Unfortunately,
have to do it. Don't say we will
unfortunately,
see.
Samuel, we're going to have to save the world again. Stop this Liverpool.
Yes.
Listen, man.
We're gonna throw.
We're still in
We're-
awful competitions.
We are
Let's
like the
see.
Avengers, man. We just save the world all the time.
We're
Yeah,
like Captain
vengeance
America in
is sweet.
Endgame. We're like Captain America in Endgame when he's by
Yeah.
himself and then Thanos
Yeah,
is like,
yeah, that's
there's
true.
that
Yeah.
picture.
Listen,
We're
I
I
must
will
say,
hate
you
it
talk
if
about
Pulisic
Timo
scores. I will
Werner.
hate it if Pulisic scores.
Pulisic.
Women.
Nah,
about
not
Timo
likely.
Werner, I think
Werner
Werner,
would
we
start.
bought him to score goals, and he didn't come like that early on in the season. He was missing too many goals, but he was getting assists. But now the last 3 games, he's been good. I want to
that's
see
good.
what he does with the rest of the games this year before I can say sell him. Let's see what he does. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I agree, mate.
Because you don't know, he might even get better. I hope he does.
I don't know.
I like Timo, but we don't know what. The main thing, we back Tuchel. Let the owner give Tuchel the 3 years or more contract and let him get on with the football. Don't interfere with Tuchel. That's what. If we see that, then we're going upwards.
I did see this, Fraser, as well. He's saying about Chelsea. 2 of the new owners want to hire the Monaco director as part of as our team, apparently. So I have seen it. How true that is, I don't know. I think we need to know who the owners are first before we can even start talking about this. But Samuel, while you're here as a Liverpool fan,
Yeah.
we know that you're going to play the one way that you always play, which is the high line and try and press the ball quickly and win it back. But if you were to pick 3, if you didn't want to see 3 players playing up front for Chelsea, who would them 3 be against you guys?
The first one will be Havertz, obviously, because this guy, even if he has a bad game, he will just pop up with a goal. He is a big game player. So obviously with Havertz, I think in the League Cup final, even though he was offside, it was more of like, that goal that he scored, and they called it offside. It was just more of like, oh, here we go again. So Havertz is one. Funny enough, Werner. Oh my days. One thing Werner has, even though he's a trash football player, is that he's got pace. That's one thing that he has. And pace and fluidity does hurt our back line a little bit. So with Werner, his pace can cause a lot of problems. And it can cause a lot of space. And I think the third guy will probably be Mason Mount, because of the fact that Mason Mount, he's got an eye for goal. Let's just have it as it is. He has an eye for goal. Any space that you give him, he will try and bend it to either the far corners. And Mason Mount has been, I've looked at his stats this season. It's actually been all right this season.
That's been good,
Yeah, he's actually been all right. So, yeah, I'll say those 3, Havertz, Mount, and Werner.
So what basically the way we're playing at the moment, pretty much, with the three up front.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I think with us, a little bit is that if you saw the first half of that Man City game, that is the midfield we have to play. We can't play Henderson anymore. Like literally,
what was that midfield? I didn't see it. Was Thiago in it? I think
so. It was Fabinho, Thiago, Keita. If you remember in the final, Thiago got injured, so we had to play Fabinho, Henderson, and what's his name, Keita. But that midfield of Thiago and Keita and what's the other name? Fabinho, yes. It's more dynamic, better fluidity, better passing range. And with that, we have to try and overrun Chelsea's midfield. We can't do that with Henderson because he runs like a Henderson.
Well, you might be able to do that if Kovacic is injured anyway. Kovacic is the one that I think that would.
Is he injured?
Well, his ankle's a bit swollen. We don't
I'm
know.
hearing it's the rest of the season. I'm not too sure if that's true.
No, yeah, he wasn't on crutches when he left. I don't think it was the end of the season.
I think what's important is how deep how deep is the league season still? Is it still within touching distance for Liverpool? Is the Champions League are they preparing for a Champions League final?
Yeah.
It then becomes priority. What does Klopp want to do is prioritize? Remember, the FA Cup final is not the end game. We've got like another league game after that, I think.
I think the last game will be the Champions League final.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So even the FA Cup finals FA Cup finals before the season ends, even like the league season. So it's like, how far when we get there in 4 weeks' time, is the league still on?
Do you know what? Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, because do they have I don't even know the fixture schedule at the moment, but priority, what does he do? Do you know what I mean?
He's left himself in the one thing I would say, and as much as we banter Liverpool, we banter Liverpool, they have done really well this season. Like, they've got into a Carabao Cup final, which they've won. They've got to an FA Cup final. They're on the verge of potentially getting in the Champions League final, and they're still fighting for a title. Where they're 1 point away. Like,
don't forget they had all the VAR. Like,
don't matter. Don't Nick.
That is to me. No, Liverpool are the biggest teams in world football.
No.
And I hate Liverpool. I don't care if you have a fan.
Yeah, but that's fine. But hate him. But what I would say is,
himself.
We can all hate Liverpool for whatever reason, but when it comes from a footballing aspect, for what they've done this season so far, we could only wish to be in their positions.
Yeah, because they had all the decisions. That's why.
No,
it doesn't matter. They've played very well this season. You know, what they're doing currently at the moment is very. I mean, if they do it, and I hope they don't. Don't get me wrong.
Look, I'll say when it's straight. I don't care. They had all the decisions. Look against us. That 1-1. That Anthony Taylor. What did he do?
Listen, it happens.
It doesn't happen. It happens with you lot.
Anyway,
don't tell me it happened.
The game's in a month as well.
The difference between Chelsea and Liverpool this season is that
the other day.
We had our injuries and we had our
decisions
moments, right?
against us.
But they're a bit more consistent with their performances, right?
Nick,
we're going to get revenge.
Nick, you can't be blaming VAR. You have to be good.
Yes, I do.
VAR doesn't come into the game.
VAR, you run it.
VAR had nothing to do with us. VAR had nothing to do with the draws we had in December and January. That was us.
For me, it is when you play against Chelsea, you always have someone supporting Liverpool in that box.
The league games this season aren't with Liverpool aren't why we're not in the league race. It's the games in December that dropped. We lost to Everton. Sorry, we drew Everton's B team.
I know the league race.
Burnley.
The league race was bad luck. COVID, injuries, we had everything.
Listen, let's moving on from this. Moving on from VAR.
Don't be envious.
Liverpool do get.
Can we get away from this VAR thing?
Liverpool do get decisions when we play them. That's all.
Nick, 1 second, mate. Let's not be envious.
I'm just saying. Look, all right, Samuel. Look, I'm just saying. You have to admit it. Do you get those decisions more than we do? When we play each other,
listen,
for the last how many years?
Let me. I'll just say this one thing. There was a season where Liverpool actually got the most wrong decisions in the league. Now, okay, maybe
that wasn't against us.
No, I'm just saying that.
To me,
I've got to a point. I'm just saying I've got to a point where I'm not talking about VAR. My team needs to be that good where VAR doesn't come into the question.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
What about that?
So that's why I can't be bothered to talk about VAR because we're just going to be arguing till the cars come home.
We're only talking about one game.
Why I do feel that they've had moments, Liverpool, where I'm like, if that was us, maybe it would have gone the other way, but it went that way. That happens. That's
yeah, but
far,
now certain games, it was even you said it, Jim, or after the games. That
yeah,
the
but
anti-takeout
forgetting
display was
that. That
ridiculous.
doesn't still
Yeah.
determine where they are today, because
No, all right.
what they've done,
Yeah, they
what they've
done it,
done
but I can't
is
see them
very good.
winning anything else anyway.
Listen,
You're
just the
gonna
last thing
have
before I
the
go.
League
Just
Cup, and that's what you're
last
gonna
thing.
have this year.
Last thing before I go. All I'm just saying. For
Real
me, I
Madrid
feel
are
vindicated.
winning the Champions League.
Go on, mate. Talk.
Just last thing before I go. I just feel as a Liverpool supporter, I feel vindicated this season because we've been all screaming about squad depth. As soon as Klopp this season gets squad depth, look. I'm not saying we're going to win the quad. I'm not saying that, but look, we're still in awful competitions.
Yeah.
And the game against Chelsea in the final, May the 14th, it's going to be a good game. I just don't want any injuries. That's what I don't want. Any injuries for both teams. Let the best play the best, and let's see who wins after out of that. Yeah.
Well, we already got an injury. Kovacic looks like he's
But
out.
it's in a month time. It's in a month,
rest-
so possibly we might have new injury crises.
Yeah,
Like, no one knows. It's in a whole
Kovacic
month.
is bad enough.
He might be back.
Yeah, but they could lose Salah and Mane. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
they could have an injury
no one
crisis,
knows,
but we
right?
don't know. Hopefully not.
Yeah, anyway, we won't
They
go
lost
on
Thiago
injuries.
in a League Cup final in the warm-up.
You know, the game
It's in a month, so we don't know who's going to be injured or not.
Yeah.
You know, games, Chelsea, Liverpool games are always good, exciting. I know, I'm not saying that. Just
Anyway,
it feels to me. Yeah, don't stay there. Don't go. Yeah.
Big
Now
up
go,
you lot. I
Chris.
have to go anyways. Big up you lot.
Anyway, Samuel,
guys.
I like your comments, Samuel, but you know, we do hate Liverpool. That's all.
Yeah, no, I
You-
hate
you-
you
you
lot,
people
but
hate
listen,
them much more.
we have conversations. Let's have conversations.
No one likes, no Chelsea fan likes Liverpool, but at the same time, you've got to take your hats off for what they're doing at the moment, and what they're doing is very impressive. And that is what it is for me. So
I can't never take my hat off to Liverpool. Not in my lifetime.
Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. That's the old school of you. Do you know what I mean? The old school roots of yourself. But let me just stay saying, I have got to shoot, guys. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you can as well. We are going to do the Chelsea versus Arsenal preview show. If it ain't, I don't think it'll be tomorrow because I'm out most of tomorrow, so it'll probably be back Wednesday around this time again to 12 o'clock. So big up, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday break before you get back.
Great channel as always, Jim. I just want to say that great channel.
And we might have some new owner news for you Wednesday. I'm not going to say much. I'm not going to say much actually from what I've been told. But anyway, I'll talk to you in a bit. See you later.
Bye.
I'll see you out.